Now that we have our organization set up, let's go ahead and dive into creating our proposals. There's a couple of different ways to start writing, and so we're going to walk you through each one of them in turn. So let's go up to create a new proposal. All right, this is a new war room, so we're going to give that war room a new name. We're going to use a Marine Corps IT Services Support Contract as an exemplar. And so I'm going to start with, again, that blank sheet of paper. So if I already have some proposal content that I want to bring into the system for this particular proposal, it's very similar to the document content upload that we did with the data shelf. So I can just hit new and create a new document. I can also do it by way of an auto generation. So if I have an idea of how I want to write the proposal, I can just give the document title. I can put in some content for the description, such as the background statement for the performance work statement. And then I'll start lining out my template, which is essentially my solution, right? So if I'm writing a management volume, I might talk about my different talent acquisition processes, my management processes. In this example, we're doing just a request for information response. So this same workflow works for RFI responses, sources sought responses, those things that are not full-blown solicitation responses. I can still do those tasks using this workflow. So this is an example of how you might do an RFI response. So again, put in the desired requirement in the document description, give the document a title, give it an outline. For an RFI or sources sought, it might actually be the outline of the content that the government requests of you. So then we'll just hit create. And the AI will now do the work, whereas on the previous example where we went to just a blank sheet of paper, now the AI is actually generating draft content for each one of the section headers that we provided in the document outline using the semantic contents of the document description. Give that a minute to finish generating. And now we have a draft document that we can start writing in. Alrighty. Now we'll click back out and show you the last workflow. Now this is most useful when you have a large proposal. Now you can see here in the Kanban board, you can move those documents through. So if you've already done, if you've provided a capability statement and then you moved on to responding to an RFI, and now the RFP is dropping, now you have to respond to the full-blown RFP. We have a simplified workflow for doing that as well. So we can go to the Upload RFP button here, and then we can click to upload a Word document. Now, if you have the RFP in a PDF file, you can go ahead and use the PDF tools to convert that into a Word document, and it'll work just fine. So I'm going to go ahead and find that document here in my proposals folder. I will upload that document, and then I'll hit generate templates. And what the AI does is it parses through those documents, parses through the RFP to identify the instructions from the government of which volumes you have to have in your proposal. Right, so it pops out initial drafts of my proposal volumes with the stipulated sections of content that are in those volumes that have been identified by the government. So we'll go ahead and create the documents we want to have. We'll leave the other ones behind. If we don't, we can go back to the Kanban board and see now these are in my document workflow. And now when I go over to compliance matrix, I'm going to repeat that process because I want to pull all the shall statements out of that document. And I want to have a fully built compliance matrix that I can use for this proposal. So I'll upload that same Word document, hit generate compliance matrix, and the AI will start parsing through that document for each one of the shalls and wills, along with the location in the document where that statement is found. And these per compliance matrices are federated across all of the documents in your war room. So if you're answering some of these shall statements in the technical volume and other shall statements in the management volume, you can incorporate them as you go through. And we'll show you a little bit later in the next video of how that is very powerful when you use the Power Writing tools. See, so it's parsing out. It takes a little while depending on how many shall statements are in the document. It can take up to 10 or 15 minutes to fully parse and generate. So then we'll go over to documents and see here I have all these initial outlines that the AI pulled out for me. I'll go ahead and pick the management approach. And so the AI pulls in the document outline, right? So if we go back to the auto-generate that we did previously, I had to put in the document title, I had to put in the document template, I had to put in the document description. In this case, the AI automatically pulls in the document title for me. It pulls in the sections of the template that the government specifies. All I have to provide is the document description. So I'll go into that same RFP, I'll find what portion of, say, section C I want to include as that document description. And now I'm actually going to start using the template to do a little bit of solutioning outlining. So the government gave me these 5 elements that I have to write to. I'm going to build in my own section headers based on how I'm going to respond to those sections. And again, we'll see how the AI takes those section headers and starts semantically building in relevant content based on what we've given it in the description. And so here's my management approach. I'll start with that overall overarching program management approach and start building out to each one of those section headers, both the ones that the government provided in their initial RFP and the ones that I added in my solutioning step in that document template. Give the AI a little bit of time to generate all that content. Sure beats writing it by hand. Now, this is not writing your full proposal for you. This is getting you from a blank sheet of paper through the initial voluming and outlining process into a document that you can start writing on. And that's all we're doing with this initial workflow. So now you can parse this out to your writers, right? The multi-user functionality is built into the platform, so you can have multiple authors jump into this document at once and immediately start adding value very quickly, right? I can cover down on paragraph 1 while another writer covers down on paragraph 2, and we can co-write and watch each other as we write, as we draft this document very quickly. And we'll get a little bit more into the AI tools in the next video.